Yeah, no.
Turn the dial, turn it loud. Miami's pride, make us proud. CanesWear crew, you hear the crowd. Hurricanes ain't backing down. Every play, every score. Raising bets and raising roar. Rocking orange, green galore. All for one and one for four. We got FTSN, taking names, win it again. Broadcast fam, till the end. Tune in, now let's begin.
Hello and welcome to the CanesWear podcast on Wednesday, August 6th on the FTSN network. Remember to like and subscribe to the FTSN network. Bobby and team do a fantastic job, and you can go ahead and follow everything they've got. They got a lot of great shows, a lot of great programs. So like and subscribe to FTSN. We're sponsored by CanesWear, of course, the Spot Miami Fan Shop, Canes, Dolphins, the new Marlin. We have Marlin stuff even, and they've been playing well, Gio. We've got Panthers, the Stanley Cup back-to-back champions. We just announced Sergei Bobrovsky is going to be coming. Sergei Bobrovsky is going to be coming on September 21st to the store. So lots of things going on. Obviously, we're not that far from Notre Dame, and we're going to go over what camp is going on. This is like the Candyland time of sports. And, of course, we have the one, the only knowledgeable superstar himself, Gio Milian, right next to me. Gio, how you doing today, buddy?
Doing good. Just finished with a little of a minor surgery yesterday, but I'm doing better today. Some R&R.
R&R. So you were off today?
Yeah. Just getting some rest in and full steam ahead tomorrow.
All right, so full steam ahead tomorrow. That's good. So you should be better, all better, be back bigger, like the $6 million man. You'll be back bigger, better than ever. I don't know if you even know what the $6 million man is, but it was a great show in the late 70s, or I think in the 70s actually, maybe the 80s, but great show. Steve Austin and the $6 million man. So we're starting this program. I guess if we're starting at 9 o'clock, usually we're starting like a few minutes early. I know our usual crowd is waiting for us and saying, where's the show, guys? We need the show. We have to have the show. So we'll be having some people on here talking and saying hello soon. We're going to answer everybody's questions. If you have questions, we're going to do our best. We're going to try to go from 9 to 10:30, try to close it out at that time. You know, a lot of people jump on late, Gio, and they want their questions answered, and we're going to come back tomorrow as well and do it again. So we will go ahead and see what's going on. We are right now. What's today? Today is the 6th. We play on the 31st. So what? We're 25 days away today.
25 days away from the season opener against Notre Dame.
Season opener. We're still a 3.5 point underdog, I think, or so. I think we'd be probably. Does that mean in Notre Dame we'd be a 10-point underdog? It's kind of weird, but exciting times. So. You want to go over some things about camp, Gio, what you've been seeing?
Yeah. So we're 6 days in through camp. Tomorrow we'll make it a week that since they've opened up fall camp, which was July 31st, last week on Thursday. So far, so good. Team is relatively healthy for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
People have had some questions about certain players and whatnot. No major injuries right now that are like long term. I can't delve too deeply into it, but team's health is fine as of this moment. I will say, just from the practice today, some feedback I got out of the private portions of it. Malachi Tony had a really good day. So that slot competition is very fierce between him and Ray Joseph and Tony Johnson. But Malachi Tony had a really nice day today. Even Alex Bowman, the tight end transfer from Tulane, really nice practice today from him as well. And then one guy in particular on the defensive side that I got some great feedback on, or actually two, Muhammad Toure as well today, and also Jacoby Thomas.
Gio, one second. Someone had asked, Teresa had asked, are you not broadcasting on YouTube?
Yeah, for some reason it wasn't linked on my YouTube and X before it started, but I popped it in there just a few minutes ago.
Okay. Sorry about that. Thank you, Teresa, for letting us know. So Muhammad Toure, you said?
Yeah, Mohamed Toure and Jacoby Thomas, they had pretty nice practice both themselves this afternoon.
All right, so they had good practices. So, a lot of talk starting to be about the team. Who's playing well, who's not. Everyone is obviously now really deep into Canes football. It's getting exciting. It's going to really start going to a crescendo, the roar, as we get probably within 10 days, I think is really what it's about. Right now, people that have kids, it's back to school, I think, on the 11th in Broward County. So it's like, okay, let's get these kids to school, and then it's all about the Canes. So Mohamed Toure, how are the linebackers looking all in general?
Much bigger than last year. You're talking about a room that added about 3 guys that are in the range of 6'2" to 6'4", 230 to 240 pounds. Toure looks like he's built like the Terminator, like a cyborg.
Really?
Strong guy. Has the knee brace on, but you wouldn't even think that it really slows him down off what we've seen early on in camp, and even some of the returns I've got on him as well. Really good as a pass rusher as well. He really excels from that aspect of the game. And then Chase Smith, as I mentioned last week, and I've mentioned at the start of this week and some other shows, but I'll bring it up here on this podcast as well. He's had a really nice start to camp. No full pads yet. Team has mostly been in spiders, but that will change at some point this week. Pads are going to come on. They're going to have a first real scrimmage this weekend. So that's another big one there. That's chances and opportunities for guys to separate themselves from one another. But so far, so good with the linebackers. But I think this is where we're going to get more of a telltale sign of where things are trending once it's full-on contact.
Mm-hmm. All right. So when do they get the full-on contact?
That'll be this weekeend.
This weekend already. Okay, so
yeah, with the scrimmage,
we keep our fingers crossed and hope that there's little injuries. I see, like across town, the Dolphins are like losing guys every day. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, they'll take precautions in terms of some measures, like where quarterbacks won't be able to be taken down entirely to the ground, some thudding and whatnot, just not full-on tackling. Coaches will also, what I like to call a snap management or basically practice management of certain players, where they may hold out some guys in some practices just to keep them healthy and fresh, or guys they know for sure that have kind of cemented themselves and their status with this year's team, whether it be as a starter, as a key role player, whatever the case may be. That'll come into play too. They did some of that in camp last year. So this first scrimmage, very important. There'll be another one next weekend. And then after that scrimmage next weekend, you're talking about it's full steam ahead in terms of preparation for that Notre Dame game.
All right. So is that when they start scout teams and things like that?
Yes, correct.
All right. Juan Manuel, welcome to the show. Gio and Brett, how was your week? It was good. Glad he could join us. Gio has said he's laid up a little bit, but he's coming back from a minor surgery, so that's all good. Let's see. Thank you. We appreciate the support. Yes, the 26 jersey of Sean Taylor is amazing. Actually, I have one here. I'm going to go ahead and pull it out in a second so you guys can see it. It's amazing. And we got the Ed Reed jersey. We just got the number 1 jersey in. The new jersey is awesome. And we're going to have other players as well. Of course, we've got Fletcher this year. We've still got Restrepos. We've still got Wards. We're going to have a lot more awards because, hey, everybody wants Ken Ward. I mean, he's looking awesome in Tennessee. Every time I get to see him, I mean, it's phenomenal. And hopefully he has a year like the Washington quarterback Jalen had. And if he can have a year like that, and who knows, Washington wasn't a good team, and all of a sudden they actually could have gone to the Super Bowl.
Well, I think it's a great
Jaden Daniels. I should say.
Jaden Daniels. I think it's a great comparison to that when you even speak about Miami last year. You know, a quarterback can change your fortunes in many ways.
No, absolutely. And if you think about it, I mean, just think about the difference the team is. But let's face it, if Cam Ward wasn't on our team last year, nothing against Emery, nothing against anyone else we had, how many of those games do we lose? Now, I know we're a running team. We're running first last year, but still, I mean, do we lose 2 more games, 3 more games, 4 more games? Do we win a game?
Well,
I know we'd win because we had a running game.
I think they lose that California game without Cam Ward,
Mhm.
certainly. If he wasn't the quarterback there last year, I don't know who else could have led them back in that
Mhm.
one, to be honest. Duke game, a little scary as well. I think those are two that really come to mind.
Virginia Tech, the game we won at the end. I mean,
yeah,
they almost beat us.
yeah, maybe even the Louisville game as well. Those definitely come to mind.
Mhm. I mean, I just think that our running we probably would have been running a lot more if we had someone else. But it is what it is. We got Cam Ward. We're coming back to quarterback U. We've got Beck. If Beck has a great year this year, I mean, we're getting right there to quarterback U. And listen, Beck could be, if he has a great year and he's drafted in the first round, I don't think there's been a time we've had back-to-back years of quarterbacks that have been in the first round. We didn't. I think Kosar first rounder. I think it Testaverde won 2 years later.
Bernie Kosar ended up going into the. It was the compensation draft. He ended up late
because the same thing. Steve Walsh went in that too, I think.
Yeah, it had to do with the head coaching change where Schnellenberger went out and then Jimmy came in, and then that just all came into play.
But he played the first year for Jimmy Kosar in 1984.
Yeah, no, actually, you're correct on that. It was something along those lines. I know he was in that compensation draft where guys.
It was something different, I recall. Unless so, yeah. So then Vinny went first round, but that was a couple of years later. Steve Walsh did go first round, but he went on that compensation or that supplemental draft, which was always strange because they had Troy Aikman already. Even Craig Erickson, I think, went later in the draft, and Gino, I think, went later as well. Craig Erickson may have gone 3rd or 4th round. Gino went probably, 6th or 7th round. It was a later pick. And after that, did we even have a quarterback drafted before Cam Ward? I mean, was Stephen Morris drafted? Was Brock Berlin? Any of those guys drafted? Brad Kaya was drafted?
If I recall correctly, yes, Stephen Morris, Brad Kaya, those guys ended up getting drafted, but very few and far between after that. Ken Dorsey was drafted. He was drafted late, but
I don't think we had anyone 3rd round or higher since probably, I don't know. And Erickson may have been 3rd, but I'm not sure. But since Walsh, which is pretty crazy if you think about it.
Yeah, it's been a drought at the position for the program. It's nice to see that change now, where you have Ward come in. Now you got Beck, and I kind of hinted at that when Miami was chasing after Ward the prior year in the winter months, and just him going back and forth with deliberation of NFL or stay in college or whatever the case may be, that if they were able to land him and if he had a big year, you kind of open up the floodgates towards other transfer quarterbacks looking at Miami as a destination, because that offensive line they have, the running game. Miami was one of the most efficient running teams last season. They were within like the top 3 in that category. Even though they weren't running as much as before, they were still really good at it regardless. So again, back to it this year as well with the offensive line. Francis Malinois, a projected top 10 pick. Inez Cooper has received discussions about potentially being a 3rd, 4th round guy getting drafted in this upcoming draft as well in his final year. You also have a guy in the mix like Markel Bell. A lot of the feedback I've gotten on him over, I would say, what are we on? Today's Wednesday. Over the last 3 or 4 days, the feedback I've received on Markel Bell, people really feel like he's becoming a legitimate NFL draft prospect on this team. So Miami could have 3 guys that are starting on that line this year that could be having their name called up in April in the draft.
No, that would be awesome. It's about time. And that just shows, Mario, what he's brought to the team. He's brought to the school, obviously, depth. Let's see. Juan Manuel, Gio, how are Russell and Simpsons doing? And where did Upshaw come from? Is he that good? Will Joshua Moore have a role as the designated deep ball threat? I was hoping Marion or Carr would be that. All right, that's a big 5-part question. let's start with how are Russell and Simpson's doing?
Yeah, so Dalen Russell is getting some work with the second team at defensive tackle. They're giving him opportunity there. He's competing with Dante Simpson there as well. I think David Blay is a guy that's very well entrenched with that second group. He'll get some starter snaps as well, even after guys like Justin Scott and Ahmad Moen. And Ahmad Moen has had a really nice few days at practice as well. We'll see how that competition plays out with Dalen Russell and Dante Simpson, but Russell has put on some considerable size since he's arrived in the program. It's not the tallest defensive tackle, but lower center of gravity, great play strength as well from him. I think people forget too, he was the Miami-Dade 3A Defensive Player of the Year his junior year in high school at Christopher Columbus High School. He was up again for nomination for that award his senior year as well. So this is the guy that can actually play at a high level. He wasn't the biggest recruit, but he was a really good local guy that you now have in the program. He spent last year getting in the weight room, redshirted. He's got an opportunity this year to get in that mix and rotation at defensive tackle. If he can emerge here in camp when the pads start coming on, it's great news for Miami because I've been saying it over and over. If I think there's an Achilles heel to this year's team, it's defensive tackle depth, 100%. Next question that was up on there from Juan Manuel: where did Dalen Upshaw come from? Is he that good? So Dalen Upshaw came out of the great state of Alabama, and actually he comes from a high school football program that has produced a tremendous amount of NFL prospects in recent years. One in particular, Cane fans will remember, who came over from the Alabama Crimson Tide, has spent a year here during the 2023 season. Javion Cohen came out of Phoenix City High School out of the state of Alabama, the same high school that Dalen Upshaw played at. Same high school that, what's this guy's name again? The one that's playing for Alabama now, the true freshman sensation last year, who was 17 years old, Ryan Williams, came out of that very same high school as well that Dalen Upshaw was at. So he comes from a great high school program. Size-wise, though, he's tipping near almost 190 pounds. He's about 5'11", 6 foot, just around that range. Fits in well as a Z receiver. He flashed a bit throughout spring. He got a lot of good reps. When JoJo Trader got a little nicked up during the end of spring this year, Upshaw was able to step into that role, got some really great snaps, even some of the first team back then. Even now, it's getting a lot of reps of that second team group in camp. Even in one-on-one and 7-on-7 situations, he is a vertical threat. Can play some of the short intermediate game as well. But I think what's mostly impressed people throughout the early portion of camp is him being able to get downfield. That's the biggest thing. So, and the other two questions here: will Joshua Moore have a role as the designated deep ball threat? I was hoping Keelan Marion or Nikar would be that. So Keelan Marion actually had a really nice day over the weekend, particularly. He stepped in at the Z, was able to stretch the field, got a lot of work with the ones, some trick plays they even have designed for him. Still a lot of competition going on there at the Z. I'm sure everyone has heard the rumors and the discussions about JoJo Trader at this point and whatnot. Look, I don't want to delve deeply into it, but it's obvious at this point everyone's kind of put two and two together. Yes, is he nicked up? Yes. Is it long-term? I really can't speak on that. The feedback that I did get, though, is that it shouldn't hamper anything with this upcoming season, that he should be fine before the season begins. So whatever that timetable is, I can't even begin to share that because it's just a very touchy subject, but that'll work itself out. But on your question about Nikard, he's had some moments in practice too. Got a little nicked up, shaked up, but he's fine. Joshua Moore, though, I love that you bring him up. I've been talking about this since the start of camp, how he's able to get downfield faster than you would ever think for a guy that's 6'4", 215 pounds, gets vertical, beats guys deep, but also contested catch situations as well. He excels in that too. Still a bit raw as a route runner, has to work on some of the technical side of things, but I think from a play strength standpoint, like how he plays and how he uses his body to his advantage already for such a young receiver, how he understands that concept is so promising for the future. I do think he has a role on this team this year as long as it continues, and he has continued making plays throughout camp. So he gets a lot of reps with the twos at the X receiver position behind CJ Daniels. He's competing a lot with Chance Robinson, who flashed a bit over the weekend as well. So again, scrimmages are going to be the tell-all, but if he carries over what he's done in the early portion of camp into these scrimmage settings, like the game settings that they're trying to simulate, I think he has a role on this year's team for sure.
Awesome. So Joshua Moore runs what about a 4.4, 4.5?
I'm not sure when it comes to the 40, but I know
I read he was a 4.48 or so, but I don't know. Is he have the breaking speed? Does he have quickness? A guy that size.
When he gets going downfield, he's a very tough.
So we got a 6'4". He's obviously got a great vertical, right?
Yes.
Okay, and that can leap up in the air. I mean, I'm not saying he's a Randy Moss type player that can go up and take the ball away. We haven't had that in a little while, a guy that could go up and take away. And when Langham went up and took the ball away on that big play guy, I mean, would you consider that when he took it away in Florida State and did it a couple of times? We haven't had the athletic receiver that can go take the ball away in a little bit. Michael Irvin could do it, but he wasn't that tall, and he really wasn't that fast.
I think he has much more upside than a Darrell Langham, like just from an athletic standpoint too. Joshua Moore is the guy that, all right, let's say he doesn't start this year. I could easily see him being a big fixture on this team by next year. Like he could have some type of role this year, and next year he grows into being like one of the guys.
Now, is he a true freshman?
True freshman.
True freshman. So he's 18 years old. So technically, this guy can still grow.
Yeah, that too.
And any idea what his weight is about? I mean, he's
6'4", 215, right around that range.
All right, cool. So we could have a solid guy here. Speaking of receivers, a lot of people have been talking about Josiah Trader, JoJo Trader, that he started off. I heard you say it. I think it was on the on one of the shows, and you said that he started off fantastic. Now he's slowed down. It's all over. It seems like X and everywhere else that he's nicked up a little bit. What's the latest?
Yeah, so I had mentioned that just a moment ago. I can't go too deeply into it, but for the people that are concerned, like, how much time he's going to be out, the feedback I got on that is that it shouldn't affect anything in terms of the upcoming season, like with this first game and everything going on. We'll see as camp progresses. Again, it wasn't determined as like a long-term situation, but I understand people's concern because he was a guy that was expected to be heavily relied upon this season, strong candidate to lock down that Z receiver position and potentially be a number one guy in Miami's offense. So I know it draws concerns for people, but Elijah Lofton is like at tight end. He's really stepped up into being a guy that's going to be a major factor in the offense this year. Alex Bowman brings a lot of upside as a red zone option, contested catch situations. CJ Daniels, I mentioned on 560 WQAM at the start of this week that they really like what they've seen from him so far. He's going to be a guy that's going to be a great fixture in the offense. I think if you had to mark down someone as a for sure starter, he's getting close to that. Ray Joseph, for majority, I'd say about 90 to 95% of the start of this camp through 6 days, he's been on the exact same page with Carson Beck, and chemistry is a big thing for quarterbacks. So that's a great sign. I mentioned that coming out of the weekend and then on WQAM Monday. And Malachi Toney today in particular, he had a really nice day. So I will say, though, just a quick thing I want to mention because a bunch of people were freaking out about this. I think this happened between today and the evening yesterday. There was a clip that that surfaced on social media in the last 24 hours. I think it was on some other hurricane show, and there was a reporter saying that, oh, I'm concerned about the receivers and they're not beating the defensive backs or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say two things. One, that's the media portion of what they're allowing the media to see at practice. I'm going to tell everyone here right now that's listening, there's still a whole other hour to hour and 20 minutes of practice, a whole 60, 70 other percent of practice that the media is not getting to watch. And not all the media is getting feedback out of those sessions. I'm just being clear and blunt here. And the other factor is there has been receivers that have won matchups in those media portions. I give examples of CJ Daniels, Ray Joseph, Malachi Toney, Elijah Lofton, Alex Bowman. They have won their share of battles. The concern was brought up that, the defensive backs are breaking up more plays. I think that's great because Miami's defensive backs were terrible last year. So that's a great sign. There's more competition going on.
Awesome. Juan Manuel, there you go. I mean, not too many people can answer that question, that five-parter. I feel like we're on the SAT or something here. Great job, Gio. Cody Kane, 722. Welcome to the show. When's the last time a team had back-to-back #1 draft picks? Somebody Blue answered. I wasn't sure either. Blue says Oklahoma and USC have both done it. Kyler Murray and Baker Mayfield. Both guys snuck into the #1 pick, if you realize. And now looking back at their careers, were they worth? I know Baker has done pretty well at Tampa. He didn't do much at Cleveland. Kyler Murray, got the giant contract also, but there was something written in it that he had to go to a certain amount. He had to learn the playbook or so. We're going to give you $250 million. You just got to learn the playbook or something. So I don't know what happened there, but so both those guys were top draft picks out of Oklahoma, the old running school. Were they worth the #1 draft picks, do you believe?
I think coming out, Kyler Murray for sure. Baker Mayfield, you could have made some arguments about was he or was he not. But Kyler Murray was a really good prospect coming out, like at least coming into the NFL. Now, it hasn't exactly worked out that way to this point, but still has some time in his career.
Absolutely. He was supposedly going to baseball, Kyler Murray. He was what was he, an infielder? He was quite the athlete that they said all along he's definitely going baseball. The Oakland A's, I think we're looking at him.
Yeah, he started his career out actually at Texas A&M before transferring to Oklahoma. So that's what I meant, like, about the situation that I kind of hinted at last year with Cam Ward when Miami was first chasing after him. And I mentioned that prospect of if he had great success, kind of opened the floodgates for other quarterbacks that wanted to transfer to Miami. The O-line situation, running back situation, and I compared it similarly to what Lincoln Riley had going on at Oklahoma. He had a run of transfer quarterbacks. Eventually landed his high school guy too down the line, but they went from Baker Mayfield to Kyler Murray to Jalen Hurts. Some people may forget that, but he went over from Alabama to Oklahoma. He almost came to Miami too. That was in play way back then during the Manny Diaz era. And then right after that, they got their first high school guy with Spencer Rattler. He had a really good year. And then Caleb Williams came in, and Rattler didn't do so hot. Caleb Williams took over, and then Caleb Williams followed Lincoln Riley to USC, and the rest is history.
Absolutely. There you go. Who knows? Great information. Let's see. Juan Manuel, Gio, talk about the talent Hayden Lowe is. Could he be the next Rousseau or UCLA transfer Phillips level, who is now with the Dolphins and hopefully will stay healthy?
Well, he plays with grown man strength already for a kid that's still 17 years old. I mentioned, it's funny you mentioned in your comment, Juan Manuel, about go ask Tommy Kinsler. You're right. He put Tommy Kinsler on his back earlier on in practice this week. Really impressive rep. He is getting work with that second team group. He's going to find some way into that rotation of the pass rushers this year. I think he's a guy that is going to get progressively better as the season goes on. How big his role will be, we'll see. I mean, defensive end is a very deep group. I think you can make an argument between tight end and defensive end potentially being the deepest rooms on the entire team. Guys like Ruben Bain, Akeem Mesidor, they're going to be starting. Guys like Marquise Lightfoot, Malik Bryant, Armando Blunt, they're getting first team reps. And then you kind of got Hayden Lowe right in the mix after that. And he's going to play, just not sure how much for the entirety of the season. I think he's someone that you see progressively playing more as the season goes on. But the future is bright with him. They're super excited about him. They think he's going to be a star at some point. Maybe not his first year, but that has to do with just the amount of depth that they have at the position.
Awesome. Is Markel Bell the same player as last year?
He's not. I spoke about him earlier. He's in much better shape. He's leaned out. Actually uses his size much better as an offensive lineman now. His conditioning is more up to par now, too. That was something he was struggling a bit during the season last year. And you saw even during that 2024 campaign that he had struggles early on when he came into the lineup, when Jalen Rivers was first out. And Markel just kind of had to be just thrown into the fire, baptism by fire, if you will, and just got better as the season went on. Much different guy than last year. It looked pretty good by the end of the year last year. People were really impressed with him, but he's taken it up to a whole other level this offseason, and I think it's going to really pay off. Like I mentioned earlier, there's been a lot of discussion for people around the program that they think he is a legitimate NFL draft prospect this year.
It's good that we have so many NFL draft prospects. That's awesome. Let's see. Blue says Pat Nix was his coach. Upshaw, former Miami OC. Pat Nix was his coach. Okay, great.
Yeah, that's correct. Dalen Upshaw.
All right, good stuff.
Bo Nix's father, actually.
Is that Bo Nix's father, really? I was wondering about that.
Nix. You remember when he was the offensive coordinator for Randy Shannon for about a year?
Exactly.
That's Bo Nix's dad.
I did not realize that. Oh, was he at Oregon with Bo Nix also?
No.
Okay. I never realized that. AR, welcome to the show. Hey, Gio, have you heard anything about the kicking game? Primarily field goal kicker. This is my biggest concern on the team.
I actually have gotten feedback on that, at least especially coming out of the weekend practice scenario that they had going on, in particular when it comes to that competition with Burt Auburn and Carter Davis. So Burt went 3 for 4, and Carter Davis also went 3 for 4 in that setting that they had over the weekend. Auburn had a miss from over 50. Davis had converted on one over 50 near the end of practice, but he also had a miss from within 50, and Auburn did not. I think, even though it's still a full-on competition, nothing has been decided yet, I could see a scenario playing out where Burt Auburn ends up being the kicker by default, just with the amount of experience he's had. And again, I know people bring up he had a bad ending to the 2024 season with Texas, but really great 2023 with the Longhorns, set a record for most points in the program, most field goals converted in an entire season. Still has a ton of experience, and coaches believe that kicking is a very big-time mental game. I could see him being the kicker, but with an asterisk. That Carter Davis is known to have a boot for a leg, especially in deep field goal situations. I could see him being used situationally like that. He's very likely is going to be your kickoff guy too, Carter Davis. He's excelled in that aspect throughout his collegiate career when he was at FAU before arriving in Miami this offseason. So I think that's how it plays out. Maybe I'm wrong, but we'll come back to that when the season starts, and we'll see if my prediction is right on that based on some feedback I got.
All right. So Carter Davis has a booming leg. So you think possibly if they have over 50-yard field goals, even though nowadays every kicker can kick over 50, if they better be able to. But in the 50s is now kind of.
Yeah, I was told that field goal he booted beyond 50. He had plenty of room.
Okay. So 65 years, 60 and above is probably Carter.
Yeah.
We need a field goal at the end of the half or the end of the game. and we don't want to go for it. So, all right, it's good to have the option. It's good. We definitely need kickers that can kick the ball out of the end zone every time. What we give up? Two kickoff returns all the way last year?
Yes, 2, and it was almost 3.
And it was almost 3, yeah. So it's all right. Let's see. Juan Manuel, what are your top 3 number jerseys you wear? What's same for Jervy? Why same for Gio? What numbers and why those players? I think he's saying, Brett, what are your top 3 jersey numbers you wear? Is that we like?
I think he may be selling maybe speaking about best sellers in the store.
Well, he said, yeah, but he said, why those players? Maybe it's, so I'm not sure. Obviously, all time, Sean Taylor, Michael Irvin, Ed Reed. The Canes have so many, and the numbers go with it. Ray Lewis, Willis McGahee. We got so many. Vinny Testaverde, so many different numbers. Obviously, I'd say 52 has always been a famous number for the Canes. Obviously, 26. 11, we've got Dorsey. That's all. That's also Beck's number this year. So I think 11 will be the most popular number of the jersey we sell, probably. Fletcher, I think at 4. Bain are both 4, correct?
Yes.
Love to have a jersey that I could go. I'm trying to figure it out. Still number 4, and we have a little Velcro thing on there. One day you're Bain, one day you're Fletcher. Hey, look at this! I'm going to be Bain today. Or you just switch, or you just have it and you switch. You wear the 4 jersey. When we're on offense, you wear Fletcher. When we're on defense, you wear Bain. I think you got it right there. It's
that's actually a good idea with the Velcro patch. I've been
thinking about that, so hopefully nobody's watching it that's going to steal that. I've been thinking of the Velcro patch. Great idea, especially now when you get 2 numbers. And what are the 4? What was Devin Hester? Was he 4?
Yes.
Oh, there you go. You just got Hester. You can have that's I may just sell a jersey in like 8 patches. Number 2, you got John Beeson, you got Willis McGahee. I think Marley was number 2. I'm pretty sure. You got 3. I mean, one day we had the Frank Gore jersey up, and we had Frank Gore number 3. We were selling them, and what's it called? Thrill Hill came in. It was a regular of the store, and Thrill's like, busy as can be that day, and he's like, "What the heck is that number 3 up there? Why is that someone else besides me?" And he was held in court. It was awesome. That's not 3. I'm 3. So there's always competition with the guys that won in the 80s and the guy versus the guys that won in the 2001. It's always a good little competition because everybody talks about 2021 being the best, 2001 being the best team ever. But the guys in the 80s, especially 86, we didn't win. But 87, we were awesome. 89, we were awesome. I mean, those defenses were unbelievable as well. So, the 86 to 89 years were phenomenal. Even 85, we lost to Tennessee, I think. 84 was when we lost the last few games. We were number 1 for a while. 83, we won. So in the 80s, we were playing for a national championship almost every year.
Yeah.
It wasn't a 1 or 2. It was every year. 91, we won. 92, was 92 the Lamar Thomas game against Alabama? Yes. Which Lamar doesn't like to talk about. He does a podcast at the store also, that was for the championship. I think the following year we played Nebraska, which we would have been the champion. So
it was 2 years after.
2 years later, we played Nebraska, and we had the lead going in the 4th quarter in the Orange Bowl. Really, you think about it, from 83 to 94, we probably played for the championship like 8 times.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Pretty amazing if you think about it. We just could never win 2 in a row. And that jinx happened again when we got ripped off.
Well, and Miami, you can make the argument that Miami should have played for 3 back-to-back.
Exactly. Florida State.
99, 2000, 2001, and the 2002 teams, those 3 should have played back-to-back for national title.
Yeah.
For a chance of the national title. And unfortunately, the 2000 team, BCS computers thought otherwise. They sent Florida State to play Oklahoma, and Oklahoma walked away with it.
Yeah, so it's I really believe the 2000 team, is as good as the 2001 team.
Oh, yeah.
I think they were actually better. They just lost to Washington in that game that we decided not to hand the ball off to Clinton Portis. It was like his coming out game. But when you think about who they had Santana Moss, they had Reggie Wayne, Dan Morgan. They were solid as can be. They had some of the stars.
I definitely think the
argument that year. You know, they had a lot of the players from the 2001 team. So yeah, I think the wide receivers were actually better in 2000, than they were in 2001. Even though we had Andre Johnson, you know, Santana Moss just saw that he was he's going to be inducted into the Washington Hall of Fame. So
I think that's a whole other discussion there too with Santana Moss. He never had a great NFL quarterback. Like he always had guys that were okay, kind of good. Like I know he had Chad Pennington and Mark Brunell, but those guys weren't like great quarterbacks when you think about like the grand landscape of the NFL in that 2000s era or early 2010s. Santana Moss never really had a great quarterback in his NFL career, and he almost went for 10,000 receiving yards. And I'm sure you throw in the return numbers and everything. He had a really good NFL career, but it's the what if that you say that, what if he had a better quarterback? Everyone says that about Andre Johnson. Andre Johnson never really had a big-time quarterback. He had a carousel of quarterbacks throughout his career with the Texans.
He made the quarterback. Exactly. And, you know, I think Santana Moss could be the most underrated Cane for what he did.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I don't think anyone between punt returns and him as a receiver, I mean, he got the ball, he was gone. He can carry the ball. Probably when you talk about the great Cane receivers, they rarely ever talk about Santana Moss, which is kind of crazy.
That's the craziest thing about it is just how dynamic he was as a special teams guy, taking reverses, handoffs, going downfield, short yardage. He could turn a 5-yard hitch into a touchdown at any given point. He was given the nickname too, the Carroll City Comet. So
that is a great nickname. But you know, he came to the Canes. Obviously, we weren't that good at the time, and he was part of the guys that rebuilt the Canes.
I got a great trivia question for you, Brett. What was the first jersey number that Santana Moss wore for the Hurricanes?
Really? I don't think it was number 6. So I do remember it. It was double digits?
Double digits.
Okay, so it was double digits. First I was thinking the 40s. Now I'm thinking the 80s. I first was going to say something like 46 or 47, but I'm going to go with it's something in the 80s, I'm going to say.
No, actually, you were closer before that.
Oh, well, it was the 40s? Okay, so what was it, 48?
48.
Okay, so it's
nowadays you tell a high school kid to wear the number 48, he'll say, "What? I'm hitting the transfer portal tomorrow."
Exactly. 48. 48's a linebacker. You haven't met too many. I think the Dolphins had Gerald Small or something like that who played 48. He got quite a bit of interceptions as a defensive back. But 48 was always like a linebacker. Sometimes you could see a tight end at that. You're not going to see a wide receiver at 48. Exactly. So how long did he have the number? I do recall that he had a different.
Just 1 year, his first year. That was his transition from being on just track scholarship to the football, like how that used to work back then before.
He didn't even have a football scholarship. He had a track scholarship. They may have changed the rule because of him.
Oh, yeah. There was definitely a rule change because of Miami. Miami was always the trendsetters.
So there you go. So, yeah, of course, everybody looked at Miami. Juan Manuel comparing Joshua Moore to Yatil Green. I'm sure Joshua Moore will take it. Yatil Green was the number 1 draft pick. Got injured in the NFL. Was drafted by Jimmy Johnson and the Miami Dolphins. But yes, I think we would. I think Joshua Moore would say, "Hey, I'll take a first-round pick when I go to the NFL." Daniel, welcome to the program. Daniel, when did we start game prep for Notre Dame?
So you'll have a scrimmage this weekend and another one next weekend, and game prep will begin right after that second scrimmage.
All right, so that's so it's getting close.
So about a week and a half away from true game prep, like scout team and giving the first team offense certain looks. About a week and a half away from that.
All right, cool. Let's see. When do Juan Manuel? I'm really encouraged by the numbers and talent in the linebacker room compared to spring. Torrey, Bonner, Wesley, Popo, Wiley, and Pruitt. Will Chase Smith contribute? And I do. Everyone said the linebacker is going to be the weakest point. It's looking very solid behind that big front four. It is looking very solid right now.
I say so far so good. I think Muhammad Touré is a great addition. I think he's going to be a leader on this defense this year. Just what gives me reservation is I'm waiting for the feedback that comes out of the scrimmages when contact actually begins. Like bullets are flying, guys are getting hit, because everyone looks great when you're not getting hit. It's the moment that you get punched in the mouth or you fall down. How do you play throughout that is what I want to hear about. So in terms of the question about Chase Smith, though, getting a lot of burn with the ones early on in camp. We'll see if that continues. I want to remind people when I mention anything about like where guys are at this point, that can still change. It's still very early portion of camp. Guys can move up or down depending on their performances, even coming in and out of these scrimmages. So so far so good for Chase Smith. Had a couple really nice pass breakups in practice earlier this week too. He's having a really nice start to camp. But again, when the contact begins, that's when guys at linebacker, running back, safety, that they'll start to separate themselves. Oh, one guy I forgot to highlight from today, actually. I got a lot of really good feedback on Zachariah Poyser from today's practice.
Awesome. So Zachariah. So what about the secondary? We'll see if anybody asks, but Zachariah Poyser, anybody else stand out?
Dylan Day's had a really nice start to camp.
I heard you say that on Bluestein show.
Looked really good. OJ Frederick. Xavier Lucas in particular, you can make the argument he moves better than any cornerback in the room, and he's the tallest guy in that room at 6'2", almost 200 pounds. So I think that's an impressive in itself. Damari Brown's gotten quite a bit of burn with the first team. Ethan O'Connor has really stood out from a coverage standpoint. Charles Brantley, some people started to write him off after spring because they brought in Keontae Scott from Auburn as a big nickel. Those two guys are competing a lot at the nickel spot. That's not anywhere locked up yet. That may even be a rotation between those two guys coming into the season, and just situational usage there. Bryce Fitzgerald, the freshman safety, has really flashed in practice since he's arrived, especially since last Friday. And anyone else I'd highlight here? Jacoby Thomas had a nice day as well today in particular from the feedback I got.
So if you say there's like in offense, there's four different areas. There's the quarterback. There's 5 different areas. There's the quarterback. Okay, the offense, the line, the tight ends, the wide receivers, the running backs. 5 different units on offense. Let's just say break that down. What units are as good as last year or possibly better this year at this time?
I don't see a beat being missed at tight end. And I know this sounds crazy to people considering Elijah Arroyo just got drafted 2nd round by the Seahawks. Elijah Lofton, as long as there's no injury that comes in the way, I think he's going to be phenomenal this year. Alex Bowman brings a ton of upside as a red zone guy, as particularly and contested catch specialist as well. Stronger than people initially thought coming into the program. The walk-on tight end that I've been talking about since spring, the man, the myth, the legend. Miami has a 6'7" tight end that was a walk-on. I gotta rephrase myself there. Now he has a scholarship, according to the coaches. They put him on scholarship now. 6'7", 260-pound Owen Ruskovich wears number 44. He has continued steady from the spring. Flashed quite a bit back then, carried it into fall camp. He's a great, good blocker, catches the ball as well. He's very capable of doing that too. I think he's going to turn into a fan favorite, if you ask me. Just
Owen Ruskovich, number 44. So we should start printing some 44 jerseys.
44 Ruskovich, a walk-on tight end to scholarship player now. Is going to be in that rotation this year at tight end. I'd be shocked if he wasn't. It's trending that way. I think he's going
to Velcro with Dan Morgan and him.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, cool. And then we got Brock Shaw too at tight end, right?
Yeah,
Could he see any action?
Brock Shot has flashed a bit. Luka Gilbert too. Luke Nichols, older brothers on the team as well. Jack Nickel really specializes as a blocking guy in line as a tight end.
So our tight ends are better. It's really Arroyo was not, for whatever reason, it's like he was in half the games, it seems. Some games they just didn't even throw the ball to him. It was inconsistent how we reached out to certain guys. The running backs we don't have Martinez, but we've got
I think the running backs. So here's how I classify it. I think the tight ends group is better. I think the offensive line group is better. Even though you lost Jalen Rivers, I do think that group is better because you got the majority of the starters back. I think Tommy Brockermeyer, the new center, I think he fits in better for what Miami's trying to do in terms of the run game, especially. He's capable of pulling in the run game. The other aspect I'll throw in there, Markel Bell, much improved from last year. Samson Okunlola battling back and forth with Matthew McCoy to potentially start at left guard on the first team. Samson's had a really good camp. So I think the O-line group is better. Running back, I'll call it a wash, where I think it could be as good as the group last year. I don't know if I want to say better. I want to see it in games, but they have the talent, though. They do. And then receiver, I'll go under from last year only because of the experience factor, but I've been on record saying it that I think they're going to be good enough to get the job done. And the other factor that comes into play there, Kevin Beard as a receivers coach in Shannon Dawson's system. Kevin Beard, as long as he's been a receivers coach in Miami, his units have always produced. It's never been an issue about production.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Restrepo was the star of the group. Who was the other guy? Our number 2 guy was
Jacoby George.
Jacoby George was, So, and he had a good year. He had a very good year. But I thought we had some inconsistency with Horton and Brown. There was really nobody else, correct?
Yeah, not really. Some guys in some spot duty.
We had Trader last year, but he wasn't anything that hopefully he'll be this year. CJ Daniels is another guy we're talking about. Joshua Moore. So they could be a lot better this year, I think. I think they have a higher upside than the guys. Based on what we know about the last year's guys, these guys have a higher upside. They won't have Restrepo to make the big catch for them when they need it. And also, Jacoby made big catch after big catch. He always got open. One thing about Jacoby, he was always open, it seemed. He was always limping off the field, but he got right back on. And him and Restrepo, I thought, were a great 1-2 punch. But I think the wide receivers could be better this year. If they're worse, we're in trouble. Unless we get the tight end ball.
I just put them a notch under the group last year just off the experience factor. I do think the production will be there. I'm just looking at it from the experience factor. That's the one thing that holds me from saying, yeah, for sure, they'll be better than the group last year. I think it's deeper depth-wise, but at the top of the group, I still, again, I've seen things in practice. I've had feedback come to me that sounds great, but I want to see it materialize in games.
So obviously there's one other position on offense. We obviously had the best quarterback possibly we've ever had before. We've got a guy now that possibly was going to be the number 1 draft pick before the season started, they thought, the Heisman Trophy winner. I mean, do you think if Carson Beck lives up to his expectations, he could be as good as Ward was last year?
I think in some respects he can be. If you ask me personally, I think Carson Beck's a little bit faster than Cam Ward was. I know this sounds crazy for people to hear, but in terms of like straight line, like when he really gets some steam going, Carson Beck can run if needed. I think he processes in terms of like passing aspect. I think he processes and sees the field a bit better. And what I mean by that is he's more willing to take the check down. He's shown that in practice. And that's the feedback I've also gotten outside of what we get to view from the media as well. Has some heat on the arm too. So it's not like an arm strength issue that's going on there or anything of the sort. No hitches in his throwing motion either throughout the start of camp. I think that's the biggest positive there because you never really know until you see it up close, basically. So I think if anyone's had concerns about that, that's not there. Maybe you won't see as many big chunk yardage plays as Cam would get, and that's because Cam would hunt a lot for that. I think Carson will kind of take what the defense gives him at times, and you stay ahead of the sticks that way. You get first downs, you move the chains like that.
No, the one thing Cam had that I think nobody else has. I mean, Jaden Daniels is a good release. I mean, fastest release I've ever seen is Marino. Okay, he would just flick that ball. I thought Cam was as close to Marino as anybody I've ever seen. The way he just flicked the ball and it was gone. I think that was how's Beck's release?
Pretty quick, actually. I don't know if I want to say as fast as Ward, but maybe just a slight.
No, he's the real deal as a quarterback. He stays healthy. Cane fans will be happy. It sounds like. So, all right, great. Juan Manuel asked about the tight ends. We just pretty much covered that. They say Luka's a legit receiver, hands in his fluid. Did you just cover him, Luka?
Hold on. So you mentioned about the tight ends. He can't get. That's funny. Juan Manuel said, "Tell us about the tight end room. Looks like Luka Gilbert and Brock Schott are dealing each other for freshmen at the bench. They say Luka's legit. Yes, Luka is actually a better receiver than you would think he would be for a guy that's 6'7", 260 pounds as a freshman. I wouldn't say he's as sudden as guys like Brock Schott or Elijah Lofton, but he could definitely run. He can get upfield vertically. I think mostly what's impressed me about him is kind of the way he understands already how to shield himself and his body away from a defender to haul in a pass. I thought that was kind of impressive in itself. He's had a couple of situations like that early on in practice. How big him and Schott's roles are this year, we'll see. I could see something playing out for Brock Schott this year that maybe I don't know if he gets as many opportunities as Elijah Lofton did last year, even though I think Lofton even didn't get enough last year either. Mm-hmm. But I could see both of them playing at certain points of the year. Possibly, maybe not even a red shirt for either of those guys. I know that tight end room is deep. We'll see how it figures out, but they will play at some point this year. Wow. They are playable.
That's a lot of tight ends. Let's see. Daniel, I think if it's close, especially versus Notre Dame, can we count on Auburn to come up clutch? Hard to say. This is one.
If you get the 2023 version, yeah. If you get 2024, it's questionable. Coaches believe that they're going to get him right. They strongly feel kicking is a very mental game. I believe that aspect too. I think that definitely plays a big part. Still too soon to tell.
No matter when he's in there between the hashes or to the right or left of the hash, what's going to happen? Nobody knows for sure what's going to happen. I mean, these guys can miss a kick, and the pressure may he may fall apart. We know what happened with Andy. Andy missed that kick against Virginia in that night game, the game that TBD, I think it was his first ACC start, and it was an easy field goal. But he rebounded and was fine after that. If he would have missed a couple more field goals after that, who knows what would have happened? The fans were on top of him. Canes Jones, welcome to the show. Everything is fantastic. We're getting close to Canes football. Bryce, thanks for reposting the stream. B Rabbit with the GO. What's that? You missed the assignment, Brett. You sell both jerseys, not the patch. You're absolutely correct. What was I thinking? Sell both. Excellent point. Need this guy on the CanesWear board of directors, I think. That's a very good point, James Jones. Sell both jerseys. You're right. I don't know. That's why I'm too nice of a guy. Let's see. The 2000 team was ripped off, Daniel. I totally agree. I think that was, we've had 3 teams that did not win championships that should have been playing for the championship or won it. We know 1986, the team that they weren't ripped off. They just, Vinny just decided to throw interceptions, possibly the greatest team of all time. The 2000 team and also the 2002 team. I was at a meeting with the guy that played for Ohio State, and he was on giving all the reasons why it didn't matter. There should have been a penalty. Of course, he saw it that way. I saw it differently, of course. Let's see. Daniel says, Washington game, we fell too far behind. Let's see. He was a QB in high school. Is he talking about Santana Moss?
Yes.
Okay, Santana was. Let's see. Charles, thanks for reposting this stream. Juan Manuel, yes, All-Americans number 48. Hassan, welcome to the show. No problem that you were late. You're here. That's all that counts. Okay, good night, everybody. Hassan showed up. We're out. Sorry. Gio and Brown, watching the SEC football show on Netflix. It was nice seeing Florida fans crying after the beatdown Miami gave them at home. Definitely was a beautiful thing to see. I did love that 3 minutes of the Canes. It was just great.
Florida fans, they really wanted Billy Napier gone. It's college football. Sometimes fans have a short memory too.
Oh, totally. They on everything, not just coaches, players. If you drop the ball once or twice, like Mike Harley, he didn't drop anything until that last year. He dropped a couple of passes. They were all over him. And of course, you don't realize when you're beating up a guy on social media, you're beating him up in the stands, it's going to be gun shy. They're going to be worried about it. So as fans, I never understand why some fans just destroy. I can see a coach a little different, but you can have a coach second guessing. When you think that you're going to change, you're going to make the player better by yelling at him or the coach, if you're flying planes. I know by that time it's too late, but they wanted to fly the plane on Butch. They did fly the plane on Butch, right?
Yeah, they did. They did fly the plane on Butch. And I'll tell you this, Brett, I know for a fact, speaking to people pretty close to the baseball program at Miami, they were, I would say, maybe just inches away from pulling the trigger on flying a banner plane for JD and the baseball program when things were really bad last season. And, look how far they went. No one thought that was coming. No one saw that coming.
Well, what does that do? It only makes the university look bad, and it makes the next guy to coach. Do I really want to go there? Money talks, obviously, but what does that really do? If they would have had the idea, they may have done it on Jimmy Johnson. When Jimmy lost in 84, they wanted him gone.
I think it goes to show, though, what the expectations are at a program like the University of Miami, whether it be baseball or football, or even basketball. Look, Jim Larinaga, he was in a Final Four 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And he stepped away from the game now. Did a lot of changes with the transfer portal and NIL, and he didn't really enjoy it much anymore. So I just think there's a lot of pressure at the University of Miami to be a head coach. You can get paid handsomely if you are with one of those programs, but a lot of pressure comes with it, especially with the football program.
Totally.
Year out, the expectation.
Before you won, nobody cared. But now they care. We should win every year. We don't want to play for no ACC championship. We want to just win. We want to win it all. Now it's like, okay, we didn't want to play for one. We didn't want to win one. Now let's just win one. Let's just win and then go to the next level, of course, because you don't win the ACC championship, chances are you may not be going to the playoffs. So now it's a prerequisite. You got to win the ACC championship. Protege, welcome to the show. What's up with JoJo? We said he's a little nicked up, right? But he's going to be okay. Juan Manuel, I noticed Jacoby Thomas is doing well in coverage. I was told he was limited to a liability in coverage, but he's proving otherwise.
Well, he had a really nice day of camp today, even when they went outside for the 11-on-11 portion of things. I will say this, like I've been mentioning to people since camp is open, you take everything for what it's worth at this point. They're only 6 days in. No pads yet. There's only so much you could take away from it. I think the biggest tell-all is going to be the scrimmages, what the feedback is coming out of those two scrimmages, and then just game week prep going into Notre Dame. The two scrimmages are going to give a very great indication of who's going to make the travel roster, who's going to be on the depth chart, who's going to start. I still think it's too early to make any determinations, but he did have a good day today.
Awesome. Hassan is asking about Oregon safety commit Jet Washington. He's hearing the Hurricanes are going to go hard after him.
Yeah, Miami's in contact with many different safeties, even Jamar Owens from the state of Georgia as well. I know that they're in contact still with what's his name again now? It's the kid that, oh my God, I believe his name is Devin Jackson, the one that that he ended up committing to Oregon out of the First Academy of the state of Florida here in Orlando. Miami's still very much in contact with him. They've spoken with Minka Fitzpatrick's younger brother as well, who Miami was really on early on throughout the spring and whatnot. They felt like they had a good chance with. Things kind of went to the wayside in the summer. There was some discussion there, too, about him preferring to play corner at the next level. Lines of communication have opened up there. There's many guys at different positions that they're still on that are committed to other programs. I'm not saying that it's going to be flips left and right, but nothing's ever really done until signing day. So, there's still time on the clock. They're going to work through it. They got 2 big games in the first 4 weekends of September that they're going to try to take full advantage of. They're already lining up game day visits for the Notre Dame game. They're lining up guys for the Florida game too. They'll have some more later on in the year as well, but I think September is going to be a big month in terms of just getting guys on campus or to Hard Rock Stadium. You're going to see more names appear over these next couple of weeks.
Awesome. Our number one baseball fan of the group, Canes Cats Heat, 305. Jake Cueto to the U baseball is cooking. Is that a big pickup, Mando?
Yeah. Well, I'm not Mando, but yes, it is.
I'm sorry, Gio.
The baseball program.
Mondo's our baseball guys.
They've had a lot of acquisitions throughout the offseason. I'm not as close with the baseball program like I am with football and basketball. I don't get as much of the inside detail on that, but they are having a nice offseason in terms of the additions that they're making.
Yeah, Mondo's our baseball guy. I thought Mando would love this question, and then all of a sudden I said it. Matthew, beat Notre Dame. Absolutely, Matthew. Beat Notre Dame. Thanks for joining us from Virginia. Juan Manuel, as far as comparisons to the running back room in 24, is Marty Brown or Martin? What does that say? Marty Brown.
I think he's asking about like the comparisons in terms of raw talent.
Oh, is Marty Brown, Martinez, Pringle?
I still think it's too. I think it's premature to say if Marty Brown is as good or better than Damian Martinez. Still very early. He was FCS freshman All-American last year. Won the Jerry Rice Award that Cam Ward won before. He's going to be in the rotation here at Miami this year. I still think it's too early to say with that. Now, in terms of the question about is Pringle comparable to A.J. Allen, A.J. Allen had more size than Gerard Pringle. Gerard Pringle.
A.J. Allen.
Yeah, I like A.J. Allen. He's now at Tulane. No, not Tulane. He's with the
FIU.
He's with Tulsa now.
Tulsa. He's moved around.
Yeah, he was at FIU in the spring. He decided he wanted to go to Tulsa for whatever reason after that. So now he's over there. But I think Pringle's definitely got more suddenness and explosiveness than Pringle. Than A.J. Allen did. But A.J. Allen was bigger. Still too early on those guys. I think you got to see more of those guys on the field to make determinations about that. But and then also it looks like the wide receiver room is more raw talent, better than 24. I think the depth is better. I just think the top line of the group, I still have my questions in terms of. I think it's great that guys perform in practice, but there's also the situations of when you get to game day, some guys freeze up. Some guys step up to the occasion as well. You have gamers and practice guys too. You have Green Tree All-Americans. So you got to – sometimes the saying goes, you really never know until it's game day.
Exactly.
You ask coaches that they've learned that.
And a lot of times you don't know until it's that game situation. The game is on the line. I always said when we're having tough times, we got to have one guy on offense that says, we will not lose. I will do everything I can. One guy in defense, one guy in special teams. They will not lose no matter what. And you know what? We obviously didn't have it last year because we lost. And we lost a couple of games that were tight and we had opportunities. So we did not have that guy last year in those games that we lost. Because if you have them, you're not going to lose. Matthew, yes, going back to that, beat Notre Dame. Absolutely. If we can beat Notre Dame, that would be so exciting to start the season. Jake, 12-0, no excuses. Enough. I like that. Enough. That could be a cool shirt. Enough. I like it. Let's see. Ro, welcome to the show. How's the D-line coming, Gio?
I reserve judgment on that. From the drills that I've watched, particular guys that have stood out, Ruben Bain, Ahmad Moten, Hayden Lowe, especially in terms of play strength, Mando Blunt specifically too. Will say though, it's one of those situations that I want to wait until the feedback from the scrimmages limited in terms of contact, but there has been some nice battles between Marquise Lightfoot and Markel Bell in camp as well. Those two guys are really going at it, but just overall, still too early to say. But a guy that is really standing out early on. We'll see if it continues in pads. Ahmad Moten in particular.
Now, Ahmad Moten's brother played here, right?
Yeah, his brother was Anthony Moten. They also called him AJ Moten back then. Yeah, he played for the program too. He was with he was between the Al Golden and Mark Richt era.
Yes. Okay. Those are the warehouse days for CanesWear. Ken, welcome to the show. 100%. I start looking at exactly. I agree on that. He's saying and I do agree with that comment. 100%. He starts looking at close friends differently when they start talking down on the Canes. And I agree. A lot of people just enjoy ripping players, enjoy that. And sometimes, I've always thought some people say it doesn't matter. Kids don't look at that. But I have to believe sometimes it comes down to look at their fan base destroying this player. Do I really want to go there? I mean, it doesn't happen all the time, but you could get it. Now money talks, but two teams could be offering the same amount of money. I mean, let's face it, all teams do it. I know Alabama, Auburn, they rip their players. Alabama loses the game, fire Nick Saban. It was like, didn't matter how many national championships. Fans are fans. I always think we can be better. Nico, welcome to the show. JoJo Trader is injury prone. He has been injured each of the last 3 seasons from his senior year in high school to now.
But I think he's got a point there. I know it's concerning from that standpoint. JoJo got nicked up early on his senior year at Chaminade. It actually cost him a little bit of his recruiting ranking. He was a consensus 5-star heading into his senior year. Him and Jeremiah Smith. JoJo missed some games. Still had a nice senior year, but missed some games during that campaign. I think 2 sites dropped him from the 5-star status. He was right outside of it. He was like ranked in the high 30s to 40s. He wasn't technically a 5-star on some sites, still was on others. Affected his ranking there, and then he got to Miami. Had a really nice spring a year ago. It was very strong knowledge that he was going to be a big part of the offense last year. Ends up having a shoulder issue in camp last year, kind of holds him out of games early on. Doesn't really get healthy till the bowl game. Shows out in the bowl game. Finally healthy, has his opportunity with Cam Ward. Looks great in the bowl game. Has a nice spring this year too. Gets banged up, a little bit of a wrist injury that happened at the end of that camp in spring this year. And then we come here into fall ball now. Nothing too serious. I know the cat's out of the bag. Yes, he's nicked up right now, but the feedback I got is that it's nothing too serious. But I understand people's concern that, look, it's been multiple things the last few years. But I'll remind people, look at Elijah Arroyo. Elijah Arroyo had a string of injuries. You saw how he bounced back last year. Another guy who's had a string of injuries, and he's having a nice start to camp this year too, Chase Smith. He's been one of the surprise guys to open up fall camp this year.
No, all it takes is one great year. And that's hopefully JoJo can get it back together and just stays healthy and can actually play a full season. Canes Cats, sure, it's all about rings and championships, the ability for us to talk. That's what we want exactly. Once you win a championship, they never can take it away. And we've got 5, should have more, but we do have 5. Just love when we say, we're not happy with just 5. We should have had 6. We should have had 7. We should have had 8. Definitely 6 when you talk about 2002. We all felt that game was over. Yes, obviously, Canes Cats, we know they're definitely cocky, loud, and no doubt about it. Gio can attest to that, right?
Yes.
Jake, ACC championship titles are consolation prizes. Got to stop lowering their expectations. I don't agree with that, okay? Because you can't win it. Most likely, in the ACC, you're not going to win a national championship if you don't win an ACC championship. So I mean, every time Clemson won, they won the ACC championship. They never, I don't think they backdoored it at all, right? And they got 3 championships, Clemson, or 2?
2.
2. All right. So you know what? You can say it's no big deal in ACC championship. But when you played in this conference for so many years and never sniffed a championship, it is a huge thing. It is, to my opinion, huge to win the ACC championship, not because it's catapulting you to the Final 12. Before it would have been the Final 4. But if you haven't won one, you want to win one. It's not like we're saying we don't want the ACC championship. We want the national championship. Well, you're not getting, most likely, unless you're Ohio State or Alabama, you're not getting one without the other. Those teams could backdoor in. Canes are most likely. We wanted a backdoor in this year, didn't we? It didn't happen.
Yeah, no. I think if Miami got into that ACC game last year with SMU, they would have had their chance either win or lost in the ACC game against an SMU. But the fact that they didn't make it, it's pretty much what held them out. The voters made it clear. They said, you're in the ACC, you didn't make your conference championship, we don't want you in. That's basically what they showed. Even though I think objectively, if you compared Miami to the other teams that were on that bubble, yeah, Miami had a strong case that they should have been in, but that's just not how it works right now, at least with the makeup of the college football playoff. I know expansion's upon us for potentially 16 teams in the upcoming years, but just as it is right now, it's 12-team playoffs. So, you got to make do with what you have. I agree 100% with you, Brett, in the aspect of I get what Jake's saying, that, the expectation always at Miami has been, you want a national championship. You want to be competing for national championships. But I think this is a progressive buildup that, you've gone from 5 wins to 7 to 10. Naturally, you'd like it to be that, hey, let's win our conference now.
Let's win a bowl game. We've won 2 bowl games in 20 years. So to say that we don't want to win an ACC championship, or not that it's no big deal, not that Jake said we don't want to win one, but we've won 2 bowl games. And we win a bowl game, people are excited. We won in 2018, or was it 17? Everybody was pumped, buying the shirts, felt so good about next year. And we talk about, Gio, that we are definitely not on the same level as the Ohio States, as the Alabamas, as those teams for recruiting. Everybody wants us to be number 1 in recruiting, but we won 2 bowl games in 20 years. We want to be number 1 in recruiting. We've never won the ACC championship.
Well, I've been on that theme. I've been on that theme for about the last 2 years, and some people have gotten upset with me when I've said it, and I'm just trying to be realistic. I think that Miami is a tier 2 team in recruiting, that you're just right outside that true top 5, because people will point to, oh, but what about the 2024 class? Miami ended up with a top 5 class that year because Alabama and I believe it was Texas, they took smaller classes that year. But look at the quality of their classes. It was a better class than Miami had. So I truly believe this, that Miami's still a tier 2 team in recruiting, and how they break into the tier 1 is you got to win on the field consistently. You got to show what your product is. You got to bring the brand back up. Like, yes, the Miami Hurricanes, that U is a national brand, but it's also associated with people saying, oh, they stink, or what have they ever done the last 15, 20 years? And we've talked about this, Brett, that on average, what has Miami been? A 7-8 win team, and
exactly. Never 2 years in a row. This is the first time we've had 10 wins. We've only won 10 wins a couple of times in the last 20 years.
Well, like every 5 to 6 years, they may have a really nice season, 10 wins or more. You got to break that trend this year. If you come back with Carson Beck this year and you win 10 games, or you do even more to build on from last year, I think you got something going there. I think you got something going that you could tell people, or tell these kids, or tell these parents, look, we're actually building something here. This wasn't just a one-off last year. And I think what hurt Miami more than anything, not making that playoff, just perception-wise, I think it would have done wonders for the program. But you got to get it done this year. You got to get it done.
But you always see on X and things like what makes us, what fans will always rip us on. You haven't even won the ACC championship. You haven't even won 24 years ago, we won our 5th national title. Not one. Basically, I don't care how many years you play in college. most of these guys are younger than 24. They don't remember. The kids that you're recruiting are not saying, yeah, but Miami was good back when my parents were kids. It's like, I mean, but when
Very few are saying that, yeah.
this team, no matter who the coach is, they don't care. Look at all the coaches. Not one of them have won. They don't win bowl games, and they've never won a conference championship. Because technically, there were no conference championships in the Big East. Yeah. They didn't have championship games. Obviously, we were the playing team. So, all right, moving right along. Okay, so Canes, Cats, and Wine Manual are joking it up about the pilot got a cold, or they would have flown that plane. It was so close to flying the plane that you said. Thank goodness they didn't do it. JD's been through a lot in his life, and I'm so proud that he got to turn it around. Everybody wants a success story. All right, that's the key. Jake with the comment, just I wanted to do a ninja. Anyway, let's see. What do we got next here? Good one, Jake. I like it. 1 milligram of epinephrine. That's one of the classic names. Which team do you think is better, 2024 Canes or 2025 Miami? I assume he's saying the Canes versus the Canes, correct?
Should we see 2020? Here's my thing. I think the defense is better this year. I think that's going to be evident, and you're going to see it soon. I still got to see with the offense. I think the tight end group is better. I think the O-line's better. Still want to see with the running backs and receivers. Still think it's just too early.
Jake, I don't know what that thing was. He said it was like a ninja. I didn't notice if anybody saw me on that one because you were talking. But it was something caught in my shirt, and I thought it was. If anyone's ever had a palmetto on them, you just all of a sudden it's like, uh-oh, and it's like walking. It's like the best way to know karate.
I had that happen to me about 10 years ago, and I literally freaked out.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like walking through a spider web at night when you can't see it. It's like, and that's the move I made. So who knows? Maybe I'm ready to resume my black belt training. Thank you, Jake, for that. Somebody saw it. Let's see. Row, nobody knows nothing, 100%. That's actually should be our show. Nobody knows nothing. It's like Seinfeld, the show about nothing, where nobody knows nothing. Okay, if Canes Cats Heat gets a chance to go to practice Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m., what should he be looking for? What should he be looking for over there?
All right, I'll tell you one thing. Watch the linebackers. Watch the defensive line.
I had a road trip.
I'd say linebackers, defensive line, and the cornerbacks are fine. I'll be very honest with you. You can still watch it anyways if you want, but linebackers, defensive line, key in on those, and key in on
my shirt.
I'd say key in on how the timing and chemistry is between Beck and the receivers. I know they've still been working on that. It's progressively been getting better, but whatever the progression is with that to this point, I know it's improved, but we got to see. Let's see here. Base Jiren shares Miami needs an ACC title before they leave the conference. I'm with you. You know, this discussion about potentially leaving the ACC by 2030 may happen earlier. Some discussion about potentially 2028. We'll see. I expect Miami to end up in the Big Ten. I would be shocked if they were in the SEC. I just don't see that happening with them already having the Florida market with the Gators. But I'm 100% with you, Jiren. Miami does need to win the ACC before they leave the conference. You'll never hear the end of it if they don't. If Miami left the ACC and never won it, people will say forever that, they never won the ACC.
Gotta win it. Gotta win it before we leave. You go to SEC or something like that, and to say they came in. I mean, I don't know if Texas A&M, did they ever win the Big 12 before they went to the SEC? They couldn't have won too many.
I believe they had won it a few times, but not.
But Texas A&M is not on our caliber of a program. I mean, obviously the Canes are 5-time national championship and dominated the 80s and some of the 90s. So, so I don't think Texas A&M is ever. That conference was always Oklahoma and Texas, it seemed, for years. Yeah. the talk about the home atmosphere, Hurricane Danny, excellent question. Did you get to this one already, Gio?
I haven't got to that one yet.
Well, the home atmosphere and your plans for Notre Dame versus Miami, and if that QB will fold from Notre Dame, can RD stop the run? Everyone's talking about can RD stop the run? Can RD stop the run?
Still too early.
We're going to find out.
Like Canes Cats, he asked me earlier what he should key in on from practice. I told him, I said, linebackers, D-line, and then the timing between Beck and the receivers. I mentioned to him, I know it's improved, but it's something you got to see midpoint through camp. Where does it stand? How is that chemistry between him and the group? But yeah, I think it's still too early to say if Miami can stop it. Even if the defense, like from a run defense standpoint, has improved, I still don't think they're going to stop Notre Dame from running the ball. Can you contain it? Yeah, potentially, but I don't think they're going to be able to stop that rushing attack entirely. I'd be shocked if they did.
To the point, home atmosphere, I think it is going to be so electric there. And if the fans are going to show up, the fans are going to be, it's a whole weekend. It's a holiday weekend. It's not a Saturday. So it's a Sunday. Everyone is going to, hopefully they're not too drunk on Sunday to go to the game, but there's going to be so much energy going into that game. I mean, the place is going to be shaking with the way that stadium is. And it's going to be crazy. All the football team has to do is take an early lead, I think, and that quarterback is in trouble. Because we can shut down the run, which I believe we can.
Brett, I think it's turning into a whole week event. I'll be honest with you. I'll tell you why. I got an event going on with Michael Yo.
That's correct.
On the 29th, that Friday, we're going to be at the Fort Lauderdale Improv from 4:30 to about, I think it's like 5:50, 6 o'clock, about an hour, 20 minutes, hours and a half. Cane fans can come out. I know some alumni is already planning to come out as well, football alumni. Just really nice event that we're going to be hosting. I've already been invited to a big luncheon that with some boosters, and big-time alumni are showing up. Just everyone's coming into town that week.
Labor Day weekend. It's going to be.
I don't even think it's going to start from the weekend. I think already festivities.
The whole week. It's
Wednesday
Labor Day week. That's exciting. It's going to be crazy. I mean, it's going to be people at the beaches. People are going to be coming in from all over because people are going to be vacationing, and they're going to come back. You know, they may go to school with to come home for this weekend, and it's going to be, electric, that stadium, like it was in 2017, like it was when we came back against Florida State that time. We were way back, and we came back. The Nicosi Perry and Brevin Jordan show, I think it was that night. So it's going to be. I mean, I just can't believe we're not sold out yet, that they're still selling tickets. And we know Notre Dame fans are buying season tickets left and right so they could sell the rest of them to the Canes fans. So the fact that we're not totally sold out means to me there's going to be at least 10 to 15% or more Notre Dame fans at this game. And a lot of people are Hurricane fans and Notre Dame fans for whatever reason. They're from there. So we don't want it to be too much, but it doesn't matter. We are going to drown them out. And if we can take the lead early, and if we make no mistakes, we're going to beat them up and we're going to win. Let's take him out of the game. Freshman quarterback. I didn't realize that I think Lloyd Carr was his father.
Yes, the former Michigan coach. Yes.
Yeah. So I was talking to my rep with Adidas. He said, "Yes, we know the family really well." Obviously, I said he's rooting for Miami because we're selling us Adidas and Miami and Notre Dame is not, but he says, I'd like to see this kid do good because we know the family. And his dad was Lloyd Carr, and I never knew that. So the kid has bloodlines. He's been around football forever, but is he 18 or 19?
I believe he's 19 at this point.
All right. So has he thrown a lot of interceptions since that first practice?
I haven't heard much more on that. It's just basically they still haven't come to the determination yet which one of the two is going to be the guy yet.
All right. King Cats Heat, agrees with you. We are definitely a tier 2 team in recruiting, no doubt about it. I think, and the fact but we are probably the best tier 2 team in recruiting. We are number 1 in tier 2, which is pretty good since again we have not won anything.
Well, I've pointed it out. It's funny. A big sports media personality shared this with me, who happens to be a huge Miami Hurricane fan. He saw my talking point a couple weeks back when I got into recruiting a bit more, and I brought up like just intricate details of like how I viewed the structures of the tiers. And I mentioned like your Ohio States, your Texas, your Alabama, your Georgias, your Oregons. Those are your tier 1 teams in recruiting.
Mhm.
And then after that, you know, Miami falls in the tier 2. He sent me a graphic that someone had put together of like, I think it's the last 5 to 6 recruiting classes. And sure enough, the top 5 teams were the tier 1s that I mentioned that I believe are that group in recruiting right now. And Miami was just right outside of it. They were like 7th or 8th in the last like 5 to 6 years. So I think Miami's on the right trajectory. I don't think they're just going to jump into becoming a tier 1 recruiting team overnight, but I think consistent success can get you there.
But there's 2 parts of recruiting now.
Oregon wasn't tier 1 in recruiting like long term. This has been more recent.
And they have not done anything ever.
Yeah.
Oregon. So, but transfer portal does not count in recruiting, correct?
Yes and no. So they factor in just the high school ranking, and then they do one where they throw in the high school ranking with the rankings from the transfer portal. So
we rank better in that?
Yeah, Miami was just right in the top 10 of that, or some type of that. Overall, as a transfer portal class, though, it was like top 5.
Yeah, so we've been awesome. I mean, look at all the great guys we've got. So the Jalen Phillipses, the Cam Wards. I mean, our best. The sad part is sometimes our best players are the transfers. Last year, Cam Ward, Damian Martinez, 2 best players on offense. We had Restrepo was homegrown, but you really don't want your best players to be transfer portal guys.
Yeah.
But no team is going to take a championship away from anyone that says, "Oh, their best players are transfer portal guys."
I'll tell you this, Brett. To Miami's credit, I think they do a good job of evaluating certain guys early on. Like, for example, Cam Pruitt was a kid that was initially a 3-star recruit, and then he became a 4-star by the end of the cycle. Hayden Lowe wasn't even anywhere close to being a 5-star recruit when Miami was first on him. He exploded his senior year and got bigger, and then it came out that his father apparently played for the Baltimore Colts like way back. I'm not sure how old his father is or whatnot, but
was his dad Cam Pruitt?
No, Hayden Lowe's father. Oh. That came out later on in the cycle, like his NFL bloodlines and whatnot. And again, this cycle right now, Miami has 2 offensive tackle commits right now that when Miami was first on them, they were like lowly rated 3-star guys, but people watched the film, they're like, wait a minute. And they saw the athletic traits and they kind of put 2 and 2 together. They're like, well, you know, if Cristobal and Mirabal like these guys, you know, they're probably better than how we have them ranked. I think the rankings are only as good as the people who are doing them at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
I think Miami's done a good job of identifying certain kids early that explode in the rankings.
Yeah, and there is a fact. You were at Yahoo Sports in recruiting. You know that schools like Alabama, the SEC, they seem to get preferential treatment. They'll drop guys. If they go to Alabama, they may put them up a notch. If they go to Miami, they may put them down a notch. It's just so we are fighting that as well. I mean, Jackson Cantwell, what did he end up? Did he end up a 5? Was he number 1?
Yeah,
5?
He's still a 5. He's a number 1 on one of the sites, but it was almost unanimous. Like before, he was number 1 on 3 out of 4 sites. Now it's just one site. He's number 1. It's just
so just dropping him because he went after he went to Miami, which is crazy. Let's see what we got here. We got Canes Cat Heat countering the argument, saying they're number 1 Notre Dame, number 1 USC. I guess it's the same as Miami landing number 1 class in the summer, and then, yeah, it's a year-round thing. It's not what you do at the beginning. We start off strong a lot of times. It's not where you start; it's where you finish. It's not where you finish; it's where when it's completed. All right, let's see. This team's, yes, that's what he meant. This year's team versus last year's team. Yeah. We will definitely see what happens there. Nobody knew Cam Ward was going to be as good as he was. We got the guy for $1 million. And to me and you and the rest of the world, $1 million is a ton of money. But nowadays, when you see what these guys are getting paid, it's crazy. J-Dub, thanks for joining the show. Thanks for reposting the stream. Juan Manuel, that's a good question on Palmetto. Juan Manuel will be at the stand-up club with Michael Yo. It sounds like he could start his own show. Juan Manuel, we were saying that. Texas A&M won the Big 12 once. Look at these fans. Jake Wynn, thank you. In 1998. Look at this. They can look it up. We got the best, the smartest fans in the world here at Geo. Let's see. N'Kosi Perry was a part-time college quarterback, full-time adult and film inspired.
Brett, I don't think you know the story behind that. I'm not sure if you do or not.
The N'Kosi Perry?
Yeah. So let's just say there was some extracurricular going on during his time at Miami that on Snapchat he started posting something during one season, and yeah, it just people were like,
with another player's girl, the kicker.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the reason he started missing kicks, I think, right? Bubba Baxter, right? Poor guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was that. So yeah, so it seemed like none of our guys under Rick, those guys, were really football was not their most important thing. I mean, unfortunately, who was the guy that threw 6 touchdown passes against Louisville? We had like quarterback Williams. He looked like he was going to be the amazing, and then he just disappeared. But he had some other things.
Yeah, well, the stories I've heard about him the night before the FIU game, I think it's just, if I delve deep into it, fans are just going to have nightmares and get even more upset about it. And I'm talking about actual alumni have told me this, what happened before that game. It's just alarming.
That'll have to be the after show CanesWear, the post show special. No, but it was said Mark Richt, because everybody was upset that he was going to Malik. Correct? Malik Rozier was his guy. He kept going to Malik, and people didn't want Malik to start. They wanted someone else, but Malik was the only one that he could really trust.
Yeah.
Okay, so they didn't want Malik, and Malik obviously got 2017. He got the first 10 wins of the season. But yeah, they wanted to go with someone else, but you got to go with who you can trust, who's going to be there, who's not going to be running their own private parties or private videos or whatever it is. So, okay, a few more questions, then we're going to go. Juan Manuel, mine was number 3 in the transfer portal in 2025. Feels like Sean, welcome to the show. Feels like recruiting has changed. Not much decommits nowadays.
Yeah, that comes into play now. There still is some,
well, Miami
wins. Don't think of the same volume as before.
Yeah. If it's money. The question is, once they take the money, can they leave?
There's some kids who have.
Okay.
There's some kids who are getting paid to take visits to programs, even unofficial visits.
Really?
Getting paid money, like, hey, come visit our school. We'll pay you this amount. Like,
so
there's a school in the state of Florida that was doing that last year. I'll just say.
And they're bringing people in. Just come. Wow. Canes Cats 305. Last question right now is, who are the tier 1 teams recruiting and who are the tier 2? Well, you said name them one more time. The tier.
So the tier 1. Your tier 1s are your Texas's, Oregon, Alabama, Georgia, and
Clemson. Is Clemson the tier 1 or not really anymore?
Hold on. Texas, Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, and Oregon. Those 5.
Those 5.
Your tier 1. Your tier 2s, I consider like Miami, LSU, Texas A&M. I'd throw in there as well.
Michigan,
Notre Dame, Michigan. Those programs. Even though Notre Dame has had a really nice run in recruiting this year, I think it has a lot to do with the success they had on the field last year.
No doubt.
Like the run they went on and everything. And not only that, Marcus Freeman's a young coach. A lot of kids would love to play for him. He's a really personable guy as well. I know not everyone is Notre Dame fans. I'm not a Notre Dame fan either, but
I love that guy. He does
the reasons why kids would want to play for him, though.
I knew right away when they lost their coach to LSU, Kelly, right? And he stayed, and I was almost rooting for them in the bowl game, that the coach disappeared on them, and I don't remember if they won or not, but you know what? You had to root for someone like that. Not that I'd ever root for Notre Dame, but that's just the way it is. But
yeah,
like I say, someone just said there hasn't been many decommits. I'm going on record and saying, let's just say Miami has another year like last year, wins the ACC championship, and either wins one playoff game or more. There are kids that will decommit and come to Miami.
I agree.
Miami has to prove they have to win. They're all saying it. It doesn't matter who the coach is, they can't win. Mario can't coach game days, just like every one of our fans thinks it. Every one of them out there is saying the same thing. Mario can't coach. He can recruit, but he can't coach. That doesn't give you anything. And until he proves that he can win, he's not. He won't get those guys. But once he proves it, it's gonna be amazing. I mean, his biggest game to date, I think he's ever won, is when he beat Ohio State when he was with Oregon.
At Ohio State too. Yeah,
that was his biggest game. But he really, since then, you've seen so many coaching blunders on Mario. Games like Stanford and Cal, when they played them, and they were much more talented. He was the best recruiter by far in the USC, even better than USC in those days, it seemed. Maybe USC was almost as good. But USC was on some down years. So he's got to prove he can win. He's got to prove that's the key here. And if he does, we could be a top tier team, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All right. Canes Cats, Notre Dame is tier 1. Canes Cats, more decommits and flips in baseball than there are in football. Interesting. One
Manuel says, could there be two more opposites than Brian Kelly and Marcus Freeman? I think he's right. I'll be honest with you. Marcus Freeman makes it more difficult to hate Notre Dame as much as it used to be. Like,
I'm totally agreeing with you. I'm totally agreeing with you there, Gio. So, Gio, that's it. It looks like we're going to get out of here by 10:40. Tell everybody where to find you.
Yeah, everyone can find me on X at Gio Milian. Been covering fall camp since the start. Much more will be coming out as well. I have the weekly show with Amon Richards and myself at Who Wants Smoke _Inc. on YouTube. We'll be live again tomorrow evening. Probably about between somewhere 6 or 7. We'll be on there for an hour. And the CanesWear podcast will be back again tomorrow too. We have a doubleheader. So we're going to be discussing more tomorrow. And as always, the show is brought to you by CanesWear at Miami Fanwear, located at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, Florida. It's not only Hurricanes gear. They got the Florida Panthers, your 2-time defending Stanley Cup champions. Miami Marlins gear as well in there. I know some people, you probably still call them the Florida Marlins. I do myself, actually. I always remember it being the Florida Marlins, but now they're the Miami Marlins. They've had a pretty nice go of things for the past month.
Second team of all time to go from 16 under to 500, which is pretty amazing. And swept the Yankees, which is always a good thing if you're a Marlin fan. And the Marlins are the only team in Major League to not have a losing record against the Yankees. And I don't even know if that includes the World Series that we beat them in. So that is interesting. But yes, Gio. So like Gio says, CanesWear the spot, South Florida fan shop. Getting new items in. We just got the #1 jersey in for this year, the new performance one, new premier one. Getting new sneakers in next week. We're getting the slides in next week. A lot of new shirts are in. Tons of stuff coming in every day. It's really getting exciting. It's really heating up right now. So come and check us out. As I told Gio before the show, we have our own mobile app coming soon, which is really exciting. We'll do contests and other things in there as well. So check out Gio on X. Check out Gio with Amam, which is a great show. Who Wants to Smoke, right? And,
Who Wants to Smoke, yes.
And any place on radio you're going to be, Gio?
I was on WQAM earlier this week. No other radio appearances for the rest of this week. Maybe something next week. We'll see.
And Dino a lot. Michael Yo is going to be. This guy is running 24/7. All right. So it's amazing. So, I'll be at, if anyone cares, Canes_Wear on X. Feel free to follow us, like our posts and everything like that. We appreciate that. CanesWear podcast. I'm at CanesWear. So we're just pumped for the season. We are about 25 days away, and it's going to get exciting. So we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Thank you very much for joining the show. Remember, Bobby and the team at FTSN Network, like them, subscribe. They do a fantastic job. Lots of great programs, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Until then, it's all about the U.
Go Canes.